A champion could be crowned today. Louis Foster starts on pole. Jacob Abel, the only other driver still in play right behind. Here we go from Portland. Foster with the run down into the chicane. Abel is going to take a look to the inside. Jacob Abel has a chance at the move. He gets it done.
They're still racing side by side into turn 4 for the lead.
That's a block.
For the third time in 2024, Jacob Abel has won in Indy NXT to keep his championship hopes alive.
That was just a really good weekend, start to finish for us. Obviously, he was putting the pressure on me the whole time, but yeah, it was awesome. So huge thanks to everyone.
The Milwaukee Mile has as much history as any other racing facility. It is the racetrack that has hosted events the longest, continuously since 1903, 6 years before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway opened. They've been racing at the mile, first on dirt since the 50s on pavement, and IndyCar and Indy NXT are back, and it is a beautiful Labor Day weekend. In Wisconsin, temperatures in the mid-80s, and we're ready to go with the first of 2 IndyCar races coming up later today on Peacock. First, it's Indy NXT by Firestone. Kevin Lee, Charlie Kimball, set to go for the only race in Indy NXT for the weekend, and one of 2 remaining, both on ovals, to decide the championship. First, Charlie, how cool is it to be back at this place?
It's unbelievable. I never had any luck here. It's always such a challenge as a driver, but the history makes it so special to be here in West Allis, Wisconsin, competing. You talked about we don't have a champion yet. Jacob Abel did what he had to do last weekend to keep that championship fight going here to Milwaukee, but it's a long shot. Louis Foster gets the point for pole yesterday. That helps make it even harder for Jacob Abel to clinch and keep that fight going to the Nashville Super Speedway.
Abel had to win last week to stay alive. He has to win, and Foster needs to finish at the back. All Louis Foster needs to do, no matter what Abel does, is finish 6th. There are scenarios where he could finish 8th. Let's hear from, we think, the soon-to-be champion, Louis Foster, a few minutes ago, talked with DJ Clark.
Kevin. Good afternoon, Charlie. I am here with Louis Foster. Louis, you've got the first part of today done. You put it on pole. Does that add pressure to you for this championship run, or does that relieve some pressure for you?
I think it helps a lot, obviously. Relieves pressure, I would say. It's a very difficult track to pass on, I think, without the help of back markers. So I think we should be in good stead for the race. We've worked hard on the car between quali and now. I'm hoping we've got a good car, but you can never really tell. It's always an educated guess. But we'll see what happens.
In terms of those back markers, do you think that could play a big factor here today? We really haven't had to deal that much with lap traffic over the course of this year.
Yes, I think it will. We're going to be reaching them probably as our tires start to fade away. Depends how many yellows we get. I expect a few yellows this race. There's been already quite a few crashes this weekend, so we'll see. But yeah, when the tires start to fade, it's very difficult to pass, and that will probably play a factor into the race. I just hope that the back markers don't give me too much trouble.
All right, well, we wish you all the luck in the world, Lucky.
Thank you.
All right, well, we've got a few more stories to follow here on the day as Louis gets ready. The biggest thing to keep in mind here, Charlie and Kevin, 2 entries that went into this weekend, Reese Gold and Taylor Ferns, not going to be starting here today.
Now, unfortunately, the entry list of 18 is down to 16 because of the 2 incidents. This is Taylor Ferns, who's doing the ovals this year for Abel Motorsports, backing it around, and the team and Ferns decided they're going to finish their weekend. The plan is to be at Nashville next weekend. And this was a harder hit for Reese Gold. And as the custom is, you need to be cleared the day after an oval crash or any kind of crash. And they decided it would be best for Reese, from a health standpoint, not to race this weekend.
Yeah, this place is really challenging. We talked about it just a couple of seconds ago. And there's very little banking and long corners. And atypical of most ovals, highest grip line is above that dark patch in the corners. Turn 1 and 2, 3 and 4 are really long, but you've got to run a lane up to try and find the grip, and get around the corner. It is challenging, and we'll see who can handle that challenge the best.
There's been a lot of energy here today at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, and we are set for a full week of entertainment. Our first race of the weekend is just about to get started.
By Firestone.
Race fans here to give the command to fire the engines. Your Grand Marshal for the Indy NXT by Firestone and the Milwaukee Mile. Mayor of Milwaukee, Cavalier Johnson.
Drivers, start your engines!
Great to have the mayor here. I know the governor has been a big proponent and a big help for Penske Entertainment and Wisconsin State Fair Park getting this event going again. Beginning of a long-term commitment to this weekend. IndyCar will race today and again tomorrow. First, it's Indy NXT by Firestone, and this is how they will line up for the 6th time this season. Louis Foster is on pole in the Copart Novara Technologies car. And for the 4th time, starting second, Jacob Abel, still alive in the championship in the Abel construction car.
Inside of row 2, a previous Wisconsin winner, Jamie Chadwick in that Vexed Andretti, number 28. Outside in the deploy surveillance car, Christian Brooks coming off a top 5 at Portland.
Kyle Collette, 3rd in the championship. He's got to win this season. He starts on the inside of row 3. The Grupo Indy car, Salvador De Alba Jr. He has been strong on the ovals.
Bryce Aaron inside of row 4, coming off a podium at Portland in that Jaguar Land Rover Chesterfield car. And James Rowe told me he's chasing trophies for the end of the year in that Topcon car for Andretti Global.
Eugen Sunworthy has a new look. Optima Batteries, a Wisconsin company, is on the side pod now. He's also got a Wisconsin Badgers helmet where he graduated from recently. He starts 9th, and Callum Hedge in the Honda Racing Corporation car is 10th.
Inside of row 6, Christian Buggles got 5 top 10s this year in that Pelican car. Josh Pearson had a top 10 at Portland in that open context car, looking for more top 10s to finish out the year.
Jack William Miller starts 13th in the Patterson-Dill Haven Go car. Jonathan Brown in the Hover Energy car starts to his outside in row 7.
On row 8, Miles Rowe in that Force Indy car brushed the wall in qualifying. They got the repairs done and ready to go for this race. And Ricardo Escoto on the Frank's Red Hot car penalized from his 13th qualifying position to start 16th today.
Time for Kimball's Keys.
Really, it comes down to getting through the start. This place is treacherous. It is challenging. You got to survive it. And those momentum shifts with no banking, they come quick. You almost have to be ready for someone else to make a mistake before they do.
If Jacob Abel wants to win the championship, he needs a lot of help. His mindset might be, don't worry about anybody else. Let's see if we can get a jump. Foster would love to wrap up the championship in victory lane. They are starting on the front row today with Chadwick and Brooks right behind him. We've been waiting for almost a decade for IndyCar and Indy NXT to return. It's time to go from the Milwaukee Mile. It's Indy NXT by Firestone. Green. Foster gets the early jump. A challenge for second and contact. Abel saves it, but he loses significant spots. Falls back to 6th or 7th at the starts.
It's exactly what Louis Foster needed. A clean start. He's got 3 or 4 car lengths down the back straight. Jacob Abel, not ideal.
Kyle Collette, who is still trying to get the hang of ovals on the outside in the green and black 18 car. And Salvador De Alba Jr. looking to get by him in that red, white, and green number 2. Can't get it this time. Now side by side for position. A little further back, and De Alba is going to get it done to move up to 4th.
It's a great start in that 39 car, originally driven by Nolan Siegel for Christian Brooks. Salvador De Alba throws it up the inside, 2 wide through 3 and 4.
And already a big mover from 6th to 3rd for Salvador De Alba Jr. Louis Foster told me he continues to be impressed by his oval prowess. He just needs to qualify better because he has raced fantastically in these oval events. And it's Foster in charge right now, already by half a second on Jamie Chadwick, who's running in 2nd.
Jacob Abel trying to recover from that contact on lap 1. Using that low line, we talked about those black patches, lack grip. So he's really got to figure out how to get some grip, get that pass done. It is super treacherous here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Let's watch the start again and keep an eye on that black and white car that fell back just a little bit.
Those contacts between Jacob Abel, Christian Brooks, Salvador D'Alba, all kind of wedged 3 into 1 there.
So Foster went, Chadwick went with him, and Abel lost some positions and then makes contact with Brooks and D'Alba Jr., so all were very fortunate to continue on.
You would say car racing is not a contact sport. Oval racing is absolutely not a contact sport, but they survived that. Jacob Abel starting his fight back. Bryce Aaron coming off that podium where Portland's got the bit between his teeth now, racing side by side Kyle Collette.
DJ, what are you hearing from the Abel construction camp?
Thankfully, there is no damage on that number 51, but they are not happy about it. They are appealing to race control right now.
So, Charlie, might they think that Foster jumped a little bit early?
I think the real complaint might be
Chadwick.
I think the complaint might be that Jamie Chadwick moved up and moved Jacob Abel into some of that contact. He's definitely started his fight back, and because Louis Foster has led a lap, now all he has to do is finish 7th. If Jacob Abel can lead the most laps, a lap and win.
Here is Abel still trying to march forward, working on Christian Brooks, trying to get back up into the top 4. Well, we mentioned already 2 that started the weekend that had incidents yesterday in practice, did not start the race. Reese Gold and Taylor Fern scored half points, and now we're down another car. Jack William Miller, who was running 14th, has been black flagged because he does not have a radio. So if they can fix that, they can get him back out, but he is going to lose laps.
And the reason for that rule, Kevin, is because you run spotters here on the oval, there are your eyes and ears next to and behind you, and it is unsafe to continue without a radio. So if you don't have a functioning radio, you have to come in and get it fixed.
Josh Pearson in that green number 14 car, working on Collette. It's a process to complete a pass at the Milwaukee Mile. Doesn't get him that time. This is to get up to 8th. Pearson qualified 12th, so he's been a good mover so far.
Make sure we got good exit out of 2, so Hubert doesn't get us.
This is ideal short track racing. Great experience for these young drivers here at the Milwaukee Mile. Trying to figure out where they can run, where the grip is, where the dirty air with the car in front of them is as well.
Louis Foster is doing what he needs, and it's really just drama-free weekends. The points lead is massive. It would take horrible luck or a mistake for it to go away. He's essentially up by 2 full races at this point, and there are 2 races to go. That's why he just simply needs to essentially bring it home today, and he can greatly enjoy Nashville in a couple of weeks.
I talked to Louis on Friday, yesterday, before the sessions got going, and he said he really wanted to win at Portland, but you could tell that Jacob Abel really wanted to win as well. So for him, it was take what you could get out of Portland, and then here he knows anything can happen on an oval, so he's really thinking championship.
All right, we talked about the other championship contender coming in. Not the start that Jacob Abel wanted. DJ is with team owner and dad, Bill Abel.
I am Bill Abel, not the start you guys wanted. What's Jacob saying in the car, and how can he come back from this?
He's been pretty quiet so far. It's a long race. We've got a long way to go. We've got a really good car. We don't think it was damaged at the start. We're not sure. He's being quiet. He's just got his head down and focused right now. He's made a couple good moves so far, and it's a long race, and we'll see how things shake out.
We've heard a lot about tire degradation, how that's going to affect into the race, as well as this lap traffic. Are you banking on both of those to be able to have the best finish here?
You know, something's going to happen, and whatever it is, we hope that it negatively impacts the other folks and doesn't hurt us as bad. So, yeah, I think just the longer the race goes, we didn't really get too many long runs in practice, so we're not 100% sure, where things are going to fall out. Being in traffic is probably not working great for us, but we're going to keep trying. Hopefully the car will get better and come to us. It looks like he's kind of struggling to hang on to 5th right now, so we'll see. A lot of laps to go.
All right, a lot of questions still here to answer, but a lot of race still left to run. Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Right now, Jacob is trying to hang on to 5th with Bryce Aaron, who's had a really strong second half of the season in his first rookie season. First time racing back in America for the youngster from Illinois. Oval racing is totally new to him, and Bryce doing a nice job. That's him you're looking at back there from the onboard with Able Construction and Able Motorsports.
Bryce Aaron really impressed me with the poise he showed at Portland to pick up that podium. And here, you know, Bill Able talked about the tire degradation, and I think that's something that Bryce is going to have to learn, right? He's a young driver, building experience here in his rookie season in Indy NXT by Firestone. On these short ovals, as those tires wear and it changes the balance of the car, you got to figure out where to drive, how to drive the car, where the lap time comes from. So we see Miles Rowe going around the outside. It looks like James Rowe. Still some great battles. This short track racing is so much fun to watch in these Indy NXT cars.
Yeah, good battles throughout. The Milwaukee Mile right now is Miles Rowe. Now is working on Josh Pearson. Both inside the top 10, battle for
Normal
ninth.
racing line into 1. Still there. Still there.
That's
Still
Pearson's
there on
radio.
your inside. Roll the speed. Roll the speed. Doing good. Keep on rolling it. Same thing for 3. Roll the speed.
A little bit of spotting and driver coaching happening concurrently there from Steven Simpson on the radio to Josh Pearson.
Trying to come back. Okay, he's right behind you.
For both these drivers, it's about getting laps, getting experience, getting comfortable on ovals. They have oval experience, just not a whole lot of it.
That's one of the things. To get really comfortable and really excel on an oval, you just have to do laps, because unlike a road or course or even a street circuit, you can make a small mistake and get away with it. If you make a big enough mistake on an oval and it puts you in the wall, you lose out on those laps in practice, in qualifying. So it's really about clicking off laps and building that data bank, that memory bank of things that the next time you come, you can push a little harder, you make a little mistake, you can see those mistakes coming and know how to handle it.
And Miles didn't get to do a lot of laps in the ovals. Was crashed out on lap 13 in Iowa, spun at the start of the Gateway race and had some damage. We might have champion here in the next little bit, and we might have a championship soon to be owner again downstairs with DJ.
Michael Andretti, this is obviously a track that you know very, very well. I've got to ask you to start off, did you give Jamie and Louie a few pointers here before everything got going?
I don't know, it's been a while since I've driven here, but you know, there's some certain things that I used to do that maybe was a little different from others, so I shared that, and you know, it's more about the race and how you attack it and the line you take, things like that.
Well, let's talk about championship. It looks like here that Louis is on his way to clench. How is that for you and this team, putting in this monumental effort to claw back what was a very tough start to the season?
No, it's awesome. You know, he's done a fantastic job. You know, I think what really showed to me that he was championship material was when he had those problems at the beginning of the year and he had to start in the back and he'd make his way to the front. I thought that was very mature of him, and you know, he was going for the points and he scored big points in those races that he probably shouldn't have. So those were the difference, and then obviously he got on the streak of winning races, and you know, he deserves it.
Any update for 2025? Any plans with Louis or Jamie?
Nothing right now. You know, obviously we're always talking about different things, but you know, at the moment, nothing. But hopefully, you know, they both find a ride for sure, because they both deserve it.
I couldn't agree more. Michael, thank you so much. We'll get back to the race.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know Michael Andretti thinks very highly of both drivers, but right now there's no room at the end as we see Christian Brooks and Jacob Abel working at it right here from fourth position, as Abel is trying to continue his recovery after starting on the front row.
Smart here, you're way faster. No pressure behind.
Spencer Pigot's got a lot of experience being quick. He's won a few times on the way up to IndyCar here at the Milwaukee Mile in the junior categories.
And it does look like Jacob Abel's got the speed here on Christian Brooks, but he's got to be careful because he's got Bryce Aaron behind him as well. And we talked about those momentum shifts, one of my keys to the start of the race. If something goes wrong further up, you can take advantage of that. So Bryce Aaron almost needs to be looking at Christian Brooks as well as Jacob Abel to time a potential overtake as they come through 3 and 4 here.
And right behind those two, running in 6, Bryce Aaron. Let's listen to some 27 radio.
It was a really good 3-4 last time, Bryce. Just let your hands out at the end and get the draft earlier.
So not only can you learn the lessons in the car, but your team can help coach you from both the spotter stand and from pit lane to try and speed up that learning curve.
Foster has led from the jump, but he has not checked out. Jamie Chadwick is staying within range, and so is Salvador De Alba Jr. That may be a battle for the second step on the podium. It's a little further back to Christian Brooks, who's been trying to hold off Jacob Abel. Bryce Aaron, Kyle Collette doing a nice job today. The local driver grew up about 20 minutes from here. Was born here, moved away, has been around the world, now is back in Badgerland, and is a recent graduate with a computer science degree. Eugen Sundermore running in 8th. Josh Pearson and Miles Rowe rounding up the top 10.
I'm really interested to see if Louis Foster is just managing this race here and saving his tires for the second half. Oh, we got a spin. Miles Rowe spinning, coming off turn 2. No contact, but we are yellow.
He kept it out of the wall. Very well done, but unfortunately track position gone for Miles Rowe. But day may not be done. See if he needs to go to a new set of Firestones, which would not be new. They would be used, but how much were they damaged? But we do go yellow a third of the way through this event. Let's see what happened to Miles Rowe. They brought out the first yellow. He was just inside the top 10.
It's behind Josh Pearson, just gets a little high, gets down, maybe just a little free in that dirty air. Really great driving. I think that might have been James Rowe right behind him, missing the spinning car of Miles Rowe. The thing's bouncing just a little free. And he keeps his foot in it, keeps the rear wheel spinning, keeps him off the wall, does a full 360. James Rowe driving across the pit exit curb to avoid that spinning Miles Rowe car.
So this will be a pretty quick yellow because fortunately for Miles Rowe, there is no contact. He will stay out. He is at the back of the line. Jack William Miller, unfortunately, is out of the race. We're going to talk to him coming up in just a matter of a moment after this restart. Now with 15 cars in play. Next time by. And Louis Foster probably feels more comfortable with a teammate right behind him. They work together really well at Road America. Foster decided not to really challenge. Didn't feel like he was quicker than Jamie Chadwick and settled in and protected her well. This is where Chadwick can repay the favor just a little bit, but if the opportunity is there, a racing driver is and should try to take advantage of it.
Salvador De Alba Jr. in 3rd. He's won on an oval in the junior series. He's not out of it either.
Christian Brooks continues to impress since he's joined past the midpoint of the season. All right, ready to go green again at the Milwaukee Mile. Louis Foster trying to finish off what has been a splendid season with a win and a championship today. Jamie Chadwick, though, is taking a little look, and back there, Jacob Abel is side by side with Christian Brooks for 4th.
And a great jump for Jacob Abel. Salvador De Alba looking on Jamie Chadwick, clears her into turn 3, and here comes Jacob Abel thinking he can take advantage of that momentum shift.
It is tight there in the top 6 or 7. Foster is away, but now De Alba Jr. will go on the attack, and he won't be quite so friendly as the teammates. The restart is under review, so we'll take a look at that in a moment after things get sorted out, and they are not yet sorted.
Christian Brooks lost a little bit on that restart when he lost to Cool. To Jacob Abel, lost to Bryce Aaron, and now Kyle Collette looking to go the long way around Christian Brooks in 3 and 4.
And there's Sundermore in that Optima Batteries, red and black, number 22. Ready to there to take advantage of the battle for 6th. Tight quarters for Brooks and Collette. Sundermore, he's going to take a little peek on Collette there.
Jacob Abel diving down the inside on Jamie Chadwick into 3, gets to the bottom, isn't able to clear, but has the run coming off of 4. He's alongside wheel to wheel, headed down the front straight into turn 1.
Jacob Abel started second, fell back, trying to get back up into podium position.
And here comes Bryce Aaron taking advantage of that momentum, that pendulum. Jacob Abel had to lift at the exit of 2. Bryce Aaron thought about it, but there was no room there.
It was a good move, good try there. Let's gather it back up. He got no pressure.
So we'll keep an eye on these battles, but we want to hear from Jack William Miller with DJ, unfortunately, out of the race.
Yeah, this is the site that nobody wants to see Jack William Miller out of the car here. Tell us what happened, my friend.
I think just a mechanical issue, which it hurts seeing the Haven Go and Patterson car out of a race again. Just wish we could have gotten to do that race. We were having a pretty good run, and I love this track, so hopefully Nashville's better.
All right, well, we wish you luck in Nashville. We'll see you in 2 weeks, Jack.
Thank you.
And Jacob Abel continues on the charge, and he's gotten it done with a big wiggle. It's not quite complete on Jamie Chadwick. Abel's hung on to it. He's into 3rd.
Now he sets his sight further up to the road. Salvador de Alba Jr., who's still within 7/10 of a second of our leader, Louis Foster.
And Sundermore, by the way, got by Collette, and then James Rowe did as well. So Collette's dropped a couple of spots back there at 9th. And there's the battle for the lead. It's separated by just a couple of car lengths. Best finish on the season for Salvador de Alba Jr. Podium, 3rd at Iowa. 4th at another oval, Worldwide Technology Raceway. So he is very quick, and he's also won in USF Pro 2000 on an oval at Raceway Park.
It got really hairy there for Jacob Abel, clearing Jamie Chadwick. Going through 1 and 2. Turning right on an oval is never ideal. Suboptimal, as Mr. Hinchcliffe would call it. Jacob Abel with the busy hands in the cockpit, able to hold on to that car though. Finish that move up to 3rd, and do what he has to try and keep his championship hopes alive.
Well, here's one a little further back as Juven Sundermore. He's going to go way down low to try to get Christian Brooks. That's to get up to 6th.
Juven haven't shown some really good pace today. Christian Brooks struggling maybe a little bit more here than he expected to after a great qualifying.
First podium for...
You push him, man. Very good pace.
The 21-year-old from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, Sundermore on the last oval, Worldwide Technology Raceway. A couple of 4th place finishes on the season.
Take your time, set him up.
Maybe you can see a little look at that helmet. You can see the red stripe there. That is a replica Wisconsin Badgers football helmet, and Juven went to the game last night in Madison, a little more than an hour away, where he just recently graduated from. Played a little bit of football in high school before he really switched to focus on racing. It's a good looking helmet for Juven Sundermore, getting a chance to race in his home state twice this year. Road America and here as well.
He's really looking for a way past Christian Brooks. I think he's a little bit quicker, and but it's not always about just how fast you are. You have to find your way past. Brooks has got his elbows up for sure. It's short track racing. You've got to be pretty stout. Juven's got some great speed though. He just has to figure out how to get past.
We got a chance to see his alma mater get a win last night. They were down to Western Michigan early in the 4th quarter, but the Badgers did come back to win last night. Here's a good run. He's going to take a peek to the outside.
That was a straight block.
And he thinks...
Yep, copy.
Yeah, he thinks that Brooks blocked him there.
I wouldn't be surprised if the officials look at that very closely.
Oh, by the way, I mentioned that that last restart was reviewed, no action taken on that. With a lot going on, that's, you're in race control, that's probably pretty common, just to go back and make sure everything was by the book. Here up front, Salvador De Alba Jr. is right there on Louis Foster, who does not need to win this race to win the championship.
Behind him.
Now just needs to finish 7th, and it could be 8th.
Well, now that he has led the most laps, Louis Foster has led 46 laps.
We're in great shape here. Big picture. We're going to take care of the tires. Do whatever you need to do here.
That's coaching.
I'll be in front. Copy that.
He said, I'd rather be in front, I think, didn't he?
I mean,
that's Bob Peroni's talking to.
As a racing driver, you always want to be leading. You can manage the race, but he only has to finish 8th. That is if Jacob Abel wins this race. Jacob Abel's back in 3rd. Quite a ways back, almost 3 seconds behind the leaders now.
Abel's in 3rd, but he used a lot up to get there, and now he's falling back to Jamie and Bryce again.
This is back there for 10th. Josh Pearson in the green and black car ahead of Callum Hedge, full black number 17. Jonathan Brown is right behind him. Ricardo Escoto, Christian Bogle, Miles Rowe, all still on the lead lap. And here is the leader, now is gapped by 10 car lengths or so, trying to become the latest champion, the top step of the ladder to get to IndyCar from the UK, Brits. The last was Alex Lloyd. He was very good at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Jay Howard, who is still very much in the paddock, running teams in the USF Pro 2000 championships with a lot of success. Mark Taylor, remember him in 2003? Drove for Panther Racing for a little while the next season. So Louis Foster is just about there to become the next. Talked with him yesterday about options for next year. He said, we've already started conversations, and having some scholarship money is certainly going to help. We're trying to form more partners to increase our chances of being on the grid, but certainly Charlie teams are going to be interested in Louis Foster.
Louis really shown me a lot of maturity and a lot of growth this year. The season didn't start well. Michael Andretti talked about it. He was able to really get points when maybe he shouldn't have had as big a haul as he did. He was able to steal some points from his competitors and has gone on a winning tear. If he wins today and can go out and win at Nashville, I think that puts him in the top 3 of most wins in a season for this Indy Lights, Indy Next level on the ladder. Really impressive year for Louis.
Well, and he's going to surpass a legend on the all-time Indy Lights, Indy Next win list.
A legend in whose mind?
All of our minds. He would be getting to 9 with a win today. So there's the all-time win list. I know Townsend Bell is one of those that has 8. So there's what he's still chasing. Not going to catch the legendary Greg Moore. Could, though, tie those others. If he sweeps the end of the season, could tie Kirkwood, the great Tommy Byrne, Alex Lloyd. It was PT, the other one was PT?
Yep, and with 9 wins, not only does Townsend have 8, but Pato O'Ward has 9. So Pato, Kyle Kirkwood in recent memory. I mean, we've seen just great championships back and forth. David Malukas and Kyle Kirkwood, Pato O'Ward and Colton Hurd, I believe it was, a few years back. And Louis Foster just kind of ran away with this championship through the heart of the summer.
By the way, speaking of Tommy Byrne, who was a great character through mutual friends, Calvin Fish and Brian Till. I had a chance to have dinner with Tommy in Daytona this year, and that was fun to hear some Tommy Byrne stories that are somewhat legendary. Let's check in with DJ.
Yeah, Kevin, I just had the chance to talk to Grupo Indy about Salvador De Alba. Thinking about what his mindset was, they said, we don't know. Every time we try to talk to him, he is just absolutely silent and dialed in on the radio. I think this guy knows exactly what he's got to do, and he is hunting a win here at the Milwaukee Mile.
You know, if I'm Louis Foster, I'm happy to stay out front. You've got clean air. You can manage the traffic. They're just about half a straightaway behind Miles Rowe, recovering from that spin earlier in the race. He doesn't want to deal with dirty air. The momentum shift as Salvador De Alba might go past him, thinking that Jacob Abel's just behind, and that's who he's racing.
And here's Sundermore and Brooks renewing acquaintances again, and Sundermore is going to try the outside. That is very difficult to do and cannot get it done, and is going to lose a lot of ground and is now under attack by James Rowe. So Rowe up to 7th.
We'll see if James Rowe has any more luck finding a way past Christian Brooks, who has made that 39 HMD car very, very wide. Christian Brooks, I know he doesn't have a lot of experience. That's very close to contact. You've got to hold your line a little bit better through the corner. When you're racing on an oval like this, you want respect from the other drivers. It means you can go side by side. And if you've got a better car, you can continue to move forward.
You cannot get lazy. You got to stay on top of the wheel here.
Race control saying that's good, close, hard racing, and they will not be reviewing that incident. So we'll see if James Rowe has any more luck getting past Christian Brooks, and if Juven can recover that momentum and get up and move up into that 6th and 7th spots.
James Rowe just wants a clean weekend at this point. He's had a lot of pace, has qualified well, but he's been hit a few times. Got hit. That's the reason for the Escoto penalty. He was hit by him at Portland after qualifying 3rd. Had a really good race in the last oval. Started 1st, finished 2nd at Iowa. Here's Jacob Abel.
That was a
still working.
Correction.
Yeah.
Big correction coming off 4 for Jacob Abel.
So not long ago, De Alba was right on the gearbox of Foster, and now he's trying to hold off Jacob Abel for 2nd.
I wonder if Salvador De Alba ran his tires off just a little bit in that clean air, or that dirty air, excuse me, right behind Louis Foster. He thought about a pass for the win. Louis picked up the speed a little bit. Salvador couldn't quite handle. Jacob Abel really able to catch up to try and make that pass for 2nd.
There's Kyle Collette back in 9th, qualified well, qualified in 5th for Kyle. He wants to learn. He wants to run laps today. Championship is out of play. It's pretty safely 3rd in the championship. Yeah, he is very safely 3rd in the championship, but he hasn't got to race very much on ovals this year.
Couple of DNFs. He admitted the mistake at Gateway that took out Jamie Chadwick and himself and said, look, I'm learning, that was a mistake. Owned up to it. I was really impressed with that composure to look back on that and learn that lesson in that moment.
Remember our tools.
Yeah, guys, I had a chance to be able to talk to Kyle Collette in the bullpen earlier this week, and this is a driver that is absolutely focused in on, as you said, learning and setting himself up for 2025. It's always early to be able to pick favorites, but I think we've got to start circling this driver for a competitor for the championship next year.
Totally agree. If he's back next year, he's going to be one of the early favorites. Jacob Abel is not coming back to Indy next season. They're looking at IndyCar. They could look at other options as well. Team will be back, and as we see another battle row trying to work on Christian Brooks here for 6th. Looks outside, comes back to the inside. Sundermorthy is back in play in this battle too.
All right, he had a big lift there. You're +5 out back.
Can Sundermorthy go around the outside and make it stick? Oh, so close, and they touch. They hang on to it.
Andy! Head down.
You can see how treacherous the grip comes and goes so quickly here at Milwaukee Mile. He knew Juven was there on the outside, just had to hold on to it, slid up, made a little contact. So Juven going the long way around the outside. James Rowe down on the inside, slides up just. Man, they were both lucky to get away with that one. I think they both dodged a bullet there.
One more look. Whew. And now Rowe might have it done. Side by side, and he's got the preferred low line.
Still there, but keep them tight. Don't move. Don't move. Keep them tight. Still there. You're clear in. Clear in.
It's another familiar voice. Peter Dempsey, who knows how to win.
Now let's get the head down and go. You're way quicker, Steve, guys.
Close battles. He won that fantastic 4-wide finish at the Freedom 100 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's been working with James Rowe. Rowe drove for him and won a race in USF Pro 2000 a couple of years ago. And now Sundermorthy trying again. Brooks defends the low side.
Really good defensive driving. I wouldn't say blocking from Christian Brooks. He's making the move. He knows that the best way around, the best way to complete a pass is stealing the bottom. He's defending the bottom whenever Juven's got a big momentum, big run on him. But these guys are everybody, every driver, every car is looking for the racetrack that works for their setup. They're hunting for grip. There's not a clear, distinct line. These corners are so long, the track seems so wide with that little bit of banking. It's very flat in the corners, and everyone's got to try and figure out the racetrack and the line, the throttle, the steering that works for their car.
All right, just keep it that gear, keep going.
Well, we're hopeful to see more action like this later on for the IndyCar race, and again tomorrow. Remember, it's doubleheader this weekend. It's Peacock exclusive later today. 5:40 Eastern time is when we're on the air here on Peacock. Green flag is just after 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock local, and then tomorrow, still on Peacock, but also on USA, 2:30 Eastern for the Hy-Vee Milwaukee Mile 250s. Team Penske wrapped up the pole for both races, qualifying for IndyCar. His first lap is race 1. That was Scott McLaughlin. Joseph Newgarden fastest on the second lap. He has the pole for race 2 as Collette is going by Miles Rowe, who is a lap down, just trying to get one to the finish at this point and continue his learning. And up front, Day Alba Jr. was back by 2.5 a little while ago, and now he's recovered to within 0.5 seconds. And if he could get to Louis Foster, De Alba certainly knows that Foster, the only way he's losing this championship is if he crashes today, crashes again in 2 weeks. But they are teammates. De Alba is with the Andretti, with Cape Motorsports program, and will move fully into the Andretti program next year. So that will be in the back of his mind. So De Alba would only want to make a clean move on his teammates.
And one thing to highlight is we're 75 laps into this race. These Firestone tires are continuing to degrade. The pace is slowing down. Even though the fuel's burning off in these Indy NXT cars, the pace continues to slow down and people continue to hunt for grip. Those tires continue to evolve. We're almost a second slower, over a second slower now than the fastest laps of the race, which were done lap 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Pearson and Hedge still tied together. Back there for 9th and 10th. Jonathan Brown has entered the scene and now has a little bit of run on Hedge. Oh, that's so close.
Here comes Ricardo Escoto, thinking he's going to take advantage of that shift down the bottom.
He does. Hedge just has to survive and get through that corner and is going to give up a couple of positions.
And you know who's right behind this group? Our leader, Louis Foster, right there on the back straight. He's hoping they sort themselves out before he starts picking them off one by one.
No doubt. Yeah, they are likely to be fairly kind as Brown goes to the outside on Pearson. But if they're fighting for position, they're fighting for position on the lead lap. They do not have to get out of the way. Foster is charging. First he'll have Callum Hedge. About a dozen laps to go.
Now that's one of the challenges of short track racing.
Really be careful with that Juncos car. That's the Skoda.
Conversation to Louis Foster. Hey, watch out for the traffic as you get close. You know, some of these drivers develop characteristics and personalities.
Get this guy here if we can.
And reputations.
Reputations and really clean move, firm and distinct there. Salvador De Alba trying to get past as well. Keep the chance for a race win alive. Louis Foster, you know, that's the thing about short track racing. You have to work your way through traffic. You have to have a good car that can run in clean air up front and in dirty air. And Louis Foster, he said he liked to lead because he wants the clean air. His car's working great in traffic, just like it was in clean air.
Ricardo Escoto's doing a nice job today. This is his first oval race in Indy Next. He's done, I think, 5 road course races, just completed a full season in USF Pro 2000 where he was 9th in the championship. Here is Foster working on Callum Hedge now, no problem there. And the gap over second with 10 to go is over a second now. There's championship points as they run. 54 is the number. 54 up, and it is over. So obviously Foster has a huge pad. For Jacob Abel, this is not the championship season that he hoped for, but it's still been a very, very successful season. He won for the first time at this level, not just once, twice, 3 times. He's been consistently on the podium, quick, gotten himself into the conversation to move up to IndyCar with a lot of competition for that and those seats next year.
It is a fairly impacted IndyCar paddock, I would say, with drivers and seats. There's some teams trimming entries next year, a couple of new entries coming with Kramer Power Team, so it'll be really interesting to see the opportunities that open up for these Indy Next drivers that are fully deserving of the chance to move up to IndyCar. Jamie Chadwick going to get a test at Barber, probably the most physical racetrack on the schedule, with Andretti here in just a few weeks.
Second in the race, the number 2 car of De Alba Jr. working through lap traffic, who are still fighting each other for positions. Oh, another thing I've heard this weekend, we may be seeing a prominent IndyCar team expand to an Indy Next program next year. I'll let them make the announcement on their time, and who knows, it may not be 100% done, but that's one of the storylines that you're hearing people talking about in the paddock, that this could be coming in the near future, and that would be really good news. Speaking of next year, let's check in with DJ.
Yeah, Kevin, I spoke to Jacob Abel this week about his plans for next year, and he's really got a whole plethora in front of him. He's talking to teams as well as talking within his own organization. Remember, that Abel Motorsports camp does own a DW12 chassis, so it's really all options open for the young American.
The Abel Motorsports crew did a great job at the Indianapolis 500 just last year, and I think Jacob's thinking that might be a good opportunity to try and get into the big show.
A couple of Andretti teammates fighting it out on track for position here. Bryce Aaron trying to go to the outside on Jamie Chadwick. Let's hear 27 radio as they continue to fight.
Here. Jamie might have trouble with this lap car. Let's be ready to capitalize. And no hesitation when it comes to this lapper. Make your commitment and do it.
And that's what they're dealing with, the lap traffic right now. The Juncos Hollinger car of Ricardo Escoto, and Aaron does get through there, and Chadwick is going to lose the spot. And De Alba and Abel are side by side for second. Can Abel make the outside work? He does. De Alba can fight back though.
Clear.
Looking low.
Clear.
Jacob Abel is up to second where he started.
It took 87 laps. But his fight back to where he started is complete.
And through that lap traffic, Foster got through it quicker. The gap was a half a second not too long ago. Now it's almost 6 seconds, and he is 2 miles away from a championship and a 7th win. The fight continues throughout, though, with Andretti teammates trying to pick up a spot. Louis Foster is going to match the likes of Brian Herta, Mark Taylor, Oliver Askew, David Malukas with 7 wins in a season. 10 is the most ever. He's got 1 mile to go to join that list of champions. Foster did not have the start he wanted to this season. He was looking up at the championship. He stayed calm, he stayed relaxed, and then he took over, finishing this championship run with 7 wins in 10 races. Louis Foster has won at the Milwaukee Mile and is the 2024 Indy Next by Firestone champ.
What an exclamation point on a championship that he took control of early in the summer, never let go, clinches with a weekend to spare. What great sportsmanship.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Win number 9 on the career for Louis Foster.
So well earned, bud.
And how about
You're such a mega
Andretti?
driver. You've done a great job this year. I'm so proud of you. You deserve this.
HMD Motorsports has dominated this championship the last 2 years. For one, they've got more opportunities with sometimes as many as 10 cars. Andretti came back this year with their 4-car program, plus the satellite Kate Motorsports option with 1 or 2 cars at times, and they win another Indy Next championship.
Louis Foster comes down the front straight to celebrate.
Thank you so much. That means the most. You guys are the best.
The fight for positions continued through the last lap. Christian Brooks and Eugen Sunderworthy are under review for a tussle on the last lap. We saw a lot of laps of that throughout the day.
The stewards will look at that as Louis Foster enjoys his victory lap, though. Taking an extra cool down lap, taking that extra mile to soak in being champion.
That fight, by the way, for Brooks and Sunderworthy was for 7th. Jacob Abel comes home 2nd on the day.
And will come home 2nd in the championship as well. Not able to keep that fight going. He said after he won at Portland, he knew it was going to be a long shot to be in the championship fight, but he did what he had to there. Couldn't get it done today.
3rd time this season, Abel has been 2nd to go along with his 3 wins. Foster wins for the 7th time this year. 9th career win moves him into a tie for 6th on the all-time list with Pato Award. Really good day again for, well, just about everybody you see here. I think there's significant positives for everyone up and down the top 10.
And great racing, a lot of experience for these young drivers in Indy Next. Here at the Milwaukee Mile, it is a challenging racetrack. It's a nut I could never quite crack in my IndyCar or Indy Next career. So really good experience for these drivers hunting for the grip on these low banks, Milwaukee Mile.
Jacob Abel finishes 2nd in the race, and as you mentioned, he will be 2nd in the championship. Collette will be 3rd. We still got one more race to go, and there are points positions that will be in play, some battles. In fact, 4th, 5th, 6th are all very close still. That'll be in play in a couple of weeks at Nashville. Louis Foster can just enjoy it, race for a win. Could get an 8th win on the season, which would be still not the best single season. That was 10 by Greg Moore and Kyle Kirkwood. They both won 10 races in a season. Don't forget, not too far away, in fact, an hour from now, we will get coverage started here from the Milwaukee Mile for the return of IndyCar for the first time since 2015, exclusively on Peacock today. 250 laps in store today and again tomorrow. We might crown an IndyCar champion by the end of the weekend. Not today, but if Alex Palou has a really good weekend and Will Power and Colton Herta do not, and they need to make up some ground, it could be over there too before we get to Nashville Super Speedway in a couple of weeks for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix presented by Gamebridge. The moment now belongs to Louis Foster. Let's watch the celebration with Michael Andretti on board.
Let's talk about the start to begin with. Because you have spots early in the race and very long. Well, yeah, the track was like, threw up out there, that was the car. So, configuration, rolling band, the whole race. So, for sure, a bit frustrating. Of course, celebrating a lot the podium. Yeah!
Louis Foster, a big pump of the fist there for your 2024 champion. Big hugs from the team. It is not just Louis that puts this together, although he is the biggest part of it. This team has done so much to get him into a good position. As we talked with Michael Andretti from earlier in the year, fighting back from a very tough opening couple of races. It really shows the grit and determination of this young driver in the number 26 Andretti Global machine. There he is. There he is. Another big hugs all the way around. That distinctive purple helmet getting ready to come off here at this point. There's a lot of emotion here for Louis. This is a young man that doesn't always show that much emotion, but you can tell he has got a lot here today. Helmet starting to come off here at this point. Getting ready to put on the Indy NXT by Firestone champion cap to signify his accomplishment here. This is a great day to be Louis Foster. Takes off the balaclava. There he goes. Got to get some water. That was a pretty tough run for him, I would have to imagine. Gets everything set and squared away here at this point. And there it comes. The championship cap. Louis Foster, you are the 2024 Indy NXT champion. How does it feel? Talk to me about your emotions.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm just speechless. I got to thank the team. They've been behind me for the last 2 years. Massive thank you to everyone on the 26 crew. And my sponsors, co-partner Navara. But yeah, it's been a crazy 2 years, and I'm super happy to cap it off with a win.
Well, we've got one more race to go in this season. There's some records to track off for you, but what is Nashville in 2 weeks going to be? Is it just going to be a fun time for you to go drive, or are you keeping an eye on that record book?
Man, I don't care anymore. We won it, so yeah, if we can win, that'd be great, but I don't care, man.
All right, well, that is a very happy 2024 champion, Louis Foster.
Pretty impressive names there on that list that Louis Foster joins. Great company to be in, and we hope to see him full-time in IndyCar next year. So this is how the championship looks with one to go. By the way, trophy presentation will be coming up at Nashville Super Speedway weekend in a couple of weeks. Also, one other note from this race, Christian Brooks was penalized for the last lap battle with Yuvan Sunderworthy. He was asked to give up 3 positions, so he will be the last car on the lead lap. So he'll finish 10th, move Sunderworthy up to 7th. Always cool to see someone realize a dream, Charlie.
Absolutely. He soaked it in on that extra cool-down lap. He gets the championship hat. He'll get the champion trophy at the Nashville Super Speedway.
So we have one more to enjoy coming up in a couple of weeks from the Music City Grand Prix with Big Machine Records and Gainbridge, and we will see you there. Stay with us, because coming up in less than an hour, it's IndyCar from the Milwaukee Mile right here on Peacock.